The coffee hit my chest before the words finished leaving her mouth. Heat bloomed. Pain sharpened. The mug shattered on the floor like a verdict already decided. "Give him the card," she said, voice flat, eyes bright with something I didn't recognize anymore. "Or get out." Her son stood behind her, arms crossed, wearing my watch. Too casual, too comfortable. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't wipe the coffee off my shirt. I just looked at the stains spreading, dark and deliberate, like it had planned this longer than I had. I nodded once. Then I walked out. No shouting, no threats, no begging. The door closed softly behind me and something inside my chest locked into place. Days later, my phone buzzed. One message. "Why is the house empty?" I didn't answer. Because when she came home that night, the silence would speak for me. The furniture gone. The photos removed. The walls stripped of every trace that I had ever tried to belong there. And inside the living room, where my chair used to be, there would be a stranger waiting, in a suite, tailored, calm, legal. I didn't always know she was lying. At first it felt like weather, a shift, a pressure change. The way she'd started saying "my money" instead of "ours. The way her son spoke to me like a tenant instead of a husband. The coffee wasn't the betrayal. It was the permission. I replayed moments I had ignored. Her sudden panic when bills arrived. Her late-night calls she took outside. The way she flinched when I asked simple questions, as if truth had become a language she no longer spoke. And then there was the account I didn't recognize. Opened 3 years ago, draining steadily, always after she visited her sister. She didn't have a sister. I stayed quiet, smiled when necessary, played the role she had written for me. The man who would absorb damage and apologize for bleeding. Inside, I counted. I pulled phone records. Not hers. Mine. Calls rerouted. Messages deleted remotely. Someone had access. Someone trusted. I hired help that didn't announce itself. A man who wore patience like a uniform. He found the lease. Not in our names, in his. Her son wasn't her son. Not legally. Not biologically. Not even figuratively. He was her partner's. The money wasn't for college. It was for upkeep. A second life financed quietly, methodically, with my name on the accounts and my absence as consent. The DNA results arrived on a Tuesday. I didn't open them right away. I already knew. Truth had been dripping into me for weeks, slow enough not to shock. I placed the envelope on the kitchen counter that night when she came home late. "What's this?" she asked. "Proof," I said. She laughed once. Too loud, too fast. When she opened it, the color left her face. Her hands trembled. She sat down hard as if gravity had finally noticed her. "You don't understand," she whispered. I watched her. I listened. I felt nothing. I had already grieved the version of her that never existed. The day I left, I didn't take clothes. I took ownership, deeds, accounts, evidence. I froze everything with a precision she never believed I possessed. So when she walked into that empty house, panic already chewing at her throat, the stranger stood up from my chair, suit crisp, voice calm. He introduced himself. Not as a lover, not as an enemy, as my attorney. She screamed. She cried. She demanded explanations from walls that had learned not to answer her. The house wasn't hers anymore. The accounts weren't accessible. The man she had built her second life around had disappeared. The moment the money stopped, I watched the security feed from a hotel room across town. A suite, quiet, expensive, temporary. She collapsed onto the floor where my shadow used to fall. I felt lighter than I had in years. I didn't go back. I didn't leave a note. I didn't seek revenge the way people expect it, with fire or fists. I chose erasure. Now, when I think of her, it's without heat, without pain, just a closed chapter filed neatly away. The coffee stain never came out of that shirt. I kept it anyway, to remind myself that walking away is sometimes the most violent thing you can do.